The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we need to rethink and decriminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
We love the earth.
All right, good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome to the show. It is Monday, March 3rd, 2014, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. Thanks for joining us. We're back here in Portland, Oregon, after a weekend in frigid, cold St. Paul, Minnesota, land of the frozen tundra. And we've got all sorts of great video to bring you this week from our adventures, not just in Minnesota with Randy Quast and the folks from Minnesota NORML, but also from this weekend, our visit from Jeremy Cooper and the folks at Magical Butter. They brought the limo into town, and we had ourselves a really good time. So coming up on today's show, we're going to show you some of those videos, including in our regular Radical Rant segment. Instead, we'll be doing an activist agenda and talking with Jeremy Cooper from Magical Butter. We spoke to him Saturday night here live in the studio. If you happen to catch that during the Herb Thrasher replay time, if you missed it, we're going to play it right at the Radical Rant section at 45 past. So check that out. We'll learn all about their new products and how they're helping patients and others make edible marijuana products. It's really interesting. Also on today's show, it's our regular visit with Dr. Mitch Earlywine, the chairman of the NORML Board of Directors, newly elected chairman. He'll be talking to us about that study that's come out from Germany claiming that 2 young men died of cannabis overdoses. I'm sure Dr. Mitch has plenty of debunking for us to talk about that story. And another study that came out today showing that supposed decline in productivity from pot smoking in the workplace doesn't exist. Another one of Kevin Sabet's talking points, ultimately debunked by science. Also on today's show, it's time for our daily toker tune for Roots Monday. So Bacon Dan is going to be calling in, and he's got some music for us today from a local artist named Cooper with her band, The Jam, Cooper and The Jam. We heard them at one of the Ed Foreman shows, and we'll be playing some of that music for you today for our Roots Monday. Also, we'll have time to go behind the headlines, and we'll take a look at the 420 radio headline news. Where in the news today, Oregon is going to delay its vote on its dispensary bans. Daisy Bram is back in the news. You remember her from California and the Save My Babies case. Governor Jerry Brown has gone nutty with some more moonbeam madness out there in California. And a new Quinnipiac poll showing enormous support for medical marijuana in the state of Pennsylvania. All that's coming up today on The Russ Belville Show.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Cannabis Outreach Collective is an alternative health and wellness option located in Gladstone, Oregon, that serves patients in the Portland area and beyond. We are a full-service alternative health and wellness collective accommodating patients with natural, organic, holistic, and homeopathic remedies, nutritional guidance, advice, education, and medical cannabis, fully in accordance with Oregon OMMP law. You can find out more about Cannabis Outreach Collective on Facebook at COC503 or by emailing cannabisoutreachcollective503@gmail.com or by telephone at 503-853-1319. Check out our menu on Weed Maps and visit Cannabis Outreach Collective today. You can get 420 Radio on the go with the TuneIn Radio app for all mobile platforms. Go to rad-r.us/420tunein or just click the TuneIn Radio icon below the live radio feed on 420radio.org. When you are starting up a medical cannabis business, you don't just want any attorney. You want a fired-up lawyer who understands the needs of cannabis consumers. The law office of Lauren Vasquez is your fired-up lawyer for the cannabis industry. Lauren Vasquez knows the details of California marijuana law from both a personal and professional angle. Lauren Vasquez rose from the ranks of college NORML activist to become one of the Bay Area's best marijuana lawyers. Visit her website, fireduplawyer.com, or call 1-855-MMJ-LAWS for more information. That's 855-665-5297 for Lauren Vasquez, your fired-up lawyer, or email fireduplawyer@gmail.com. The number again is 855-MMJ-LAWS, 855-665-5297 for your fired-up lawyer, Lauren Vasquez. Lauren Vasquez is an activist attorney you can trust. Call today.
This is your 420 Radio News for Monday, March 3rd, 2014, brought to you by the National Cannabis Coalition. I'm Russ Belville. Pennsylvania is the latest state to show over 80% support for medical marijuana. Quinnipiac University today released the poll showing 85% of the public support allowing sick and disabled persons to use cannabis with a doctor's recommendation. Surprisingly, support for medical marijuana doesn't even diminish among senior citizens, a demographic more likely to oppose marijuana reforms. Fully 84% of those 65 or older support medical marijuana. Voters are split 48% for and 49% against legalization of recreational use, and split 48% to 46% on the fact that marijuana is not a so-called gateway drug. Men support legalization at 55%, but women are 13 points behind. 58% of Democrats favor legalization, but 2/3 of Republicans oppose it. 2/3 is also the fraction of people under 30 who support legalization and the people over 65 who oppose it. Half of Pennsylvania voters also believe marijuana is no more harmful than alcohol, and another 1/3 understand that it is safer than alcohol, leaving just 15% who think marijuana is more dangerous than booze. The Oregon House voted today to delay voting on a bill that would allow cities to ban newly legal medical marijuana dispensaries. Today, the state began accepting applications online at 8:30 a.m. and traffic was very robust, according to Tom Burns, head of the dispensary program that was legalized last year by the legislature. Some legislators had hoped to vote on the dispensary ban before the legal dispensaries became a reality and threatened lawsuits that Representative Andy Olson warned could lead to, quote, the inevitable court case that could result in a significant portion of the medical marijuana program being struck down as unconstitutional, end quote. The Senate has already passed the bill unanimously without allowing cities to ban dispensaries. The House has added an amendment to restore a right for cities to ban dispensaries. Representative Brian Clem, noting the steadfast Senate opposition to any dispensary ban, said, quote, I think there is a very uncertain path in the Senate if there isn't some more discussion. California Governor Jerry Brown is worried that legalization of marijuana in California would hurt the state's competitive edge. Speaking to David Gregory on NBC's Meet the Press, Governor Brown said of legalization, quote, if there's advertising and legitimacy, how many people can get stoned and still have a great state or a great nation? The world's pretty dangerous, very competitive. I think we need to stay alert, if not 24 hours a day, more than some of the potheads might be able to put together, end quote. California, the world's 12th largest economy, is home to the easiest medical marijuana law to qualify for and an estimated 1 to 2 million patients, as well as 1 out of every 7 adult monthly marijuana smokers in the nation and several Fortune 100 corporations founded by pot smokers. Medical marijuana mom Daisy Bram, famous for the Save My Babies case where police ripped her suckling infants from her breasts, is at the center of a federal indictment over San Francisco police corruption. The indictment alleges 3 police officers enlisted Bram and her partner Jamie Walsh when they went to police to complain about a drug dealer who was menacing them. The officers allegedly stole marijuana from evidence and agreed to cut in Bram and Walsh for 25% of the proceeds if they would sell the drugs on the street in stings. Once they began cooperating with the federal investigators on the San Francisco corruption, the 2 were raided by Butte County in the case where the babies were taken, and then raided again once they moved to Tehama County. Legal marijuana grower readies for a 2-year federal prison sentence from Russia Today. A California man plans to turn himself into law enforcement on Monday afternoon and begin serving a 2-year prison sentence that he says was handed down, quote, for working at a pot shop that was legal in my state, end quote. Indeed, the collective of marijuana dispensaries that Robert Duncan worked for until October 2011 as the manager of growing operations was anything but illegal under California law. Nevertheless, he was indicted by the United States Department of Justice the following year for violating federal drug laws and subsequently pleaded guilty to manufacturing marijuana. He was sentenced to serve 2 years in prison as a result and intends on handing himself over to authorities Monday afternoon live on camera. Huffington Post will be filming the ordeal. This has been your 420 Radio News for Monday, March 3rd, 2014. I'm Russ Belville. Transcripts of 420 Radio News are available exclusively at the National Cannabis Coalition. Visit ncc420.com to download today. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back. Hey tokers and tokettes, Radical Russ here to introduce you to my friend Matt and all the staff at Lush LED Lighting. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED Lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. If you thought LEDs were meet the tech of today, Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Let's just say I appear at a lot of events with the masters of indoor horticulture, and the harvests I saw from Lush LED Lighting were big, tight, sticky, and very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Double your rewards and lower your expenses with Lush LED Lighting. You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, home of the famous lighter leash. Herb Age Designs, get your Herb Age t-shirts and hoodies and show your pride. Herb Age Designs, we've got frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com and follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. We'll see you at this year's Hemp Fest. Crank it up!
Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink, starring Big Daddy Fink from Atlanta, Georgia. Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Good day, tokers and tokats. Radical Russ here in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're at the Minnesota History Museum for the presentation of American Spirits, the Rise and Fall of Prohibition. And as you can see, it's a beautiful evening here in St. Paul, Minnesota. We got the cathedral in the background. This is the Natural History Museum. This is loads and loads and loads of snow. You can see the Excel Energy Center through the trees, Travelers Building there. And once we get inside, you'll be able to see the capital of Minnesota. And folks, these aren't vapor hits. It's freaking cold out here. Not that I wouldn't want to have a vapor hit. All right, let's head inside and see what's happening at the Minnesota NORML event. As you can see, we're inside now, the first floor of the Minnesota History Museum, and as we make our way through, we can see the volunteers from Minnesota NORML working hard to get all the name tags on everyone. Big event here. We're all headed upstairs to the big event.
I like how you looked over there.
And we will just head upstairs and give you a look around. Stay tuned. All right, here we are on the third floor of the Minnesota History Museum at the Minnesota NORML Prohibition event. This is a kind of legalization event. Featuring myself, Keith Straub, and Neil Franklin from me. You can see all the Minnesota NORML banner here. We've got a cash bar. We want to enjoy hard drugs and a jazz trio. Ourselves a little table here for 420 Radio, just showing stuff off, free stuff. Pretty sure it's my sign your name there. Good idea. Nope, that's exactly how I signed my name. Good. Thank you, boss. Here's Randy Quast, who's the Executive Director of Minnesota NORML, brought us out here. Got some cards.
From a member of Minnesota NORML. $25 to the official card and a pen, gold lapel pen.
So join Minnesota NORML, do it now, mnorml.org. How's it been going so far?
It's been going well. Yeah, we got a great turnout. We expect close to 200 people and got some great guests.
How did you hook this up with the museum? I mean, did you just know they had a prohibition exhibit, or did they reach out to you?
You know, it's the I should know the Constitution. It's a national exhibit that's a traveling exhibit, and it's in Minneapolis until the second week in March. So this is the last few weeks, and we just wanted to. It just fit with our theme so well, so we thought we were gonna have a reception here and view the prohibition of alcohol and compare it to cannabis.
All right. So we'll talk more about that later on tonight. Thank you so much for having us here. We're going to take a look around.
All right. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to mill about here, see who we can see. The event's starting to fill up. Got waiters and waitresses wandering around the place, bringing all sorts of good little cocktail goodies. There's a serve yourself little bar here with exotic cheeses, I can see.
Is this cheese or meat?
Oh, it's one of the two. It all comes from the same source, really.
What olives? That's mushrooms.
All right, folks, you know that sound. It's time for 420, and I hope you enjoyed that quick little tour for the museum In hour 2, we're going to do the full tour through the Prohibition exhibit. It's really fascinating. You want to check it out. Also, we got the 420 Radio Drug Test Game Show that we're going to play in hour 2 as well. Coming up next, Roots Monday Daily Tokers with Bacon Dan, Cannabis Q&A with Dr. Mitch, and Jeremy Cooper from MagicalButter.com. Stick around. It's the Russ Belville Show.
You know you're talking to that reefer man.
I'm Sub Cool from Team Green Avenger. At TGAgenetics.com, we are working on the leading edge of medical strains. Our strains are rigorously tested for THC, CBD, THCV, and other critical cannabinoids. Know your grow. Check out our genetic diversity at TGAgenetics.com, the home of Jelly Bean, Jack the Ripper, Vortex, and other award-winning cannabis strains.
Support the Russ Belville Show. Text the word Russ to 420-420 and connect with the National Cannabis Coalition. You can also send $10 to the Russ Belville Show right from your smartphone. That's Russ to 420-420. You're listening to Radical Russ on the Russ Belville Show.
I'll say little red carpet, darling, your mud's too fierce. Little red carpet, you need a lover that's gonna lay.
Hey, this is Willie Nelson for NORML, and I smoke pot and I like it a lot. I learned a long time ago that marijuana is a lot safer than alcohol. There's nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults. It's time we stopped arresting and started respecting those who smoke marijuana responsibly. To learn what you can do to help, contact NORML at NORML.org or call toll-free 888-67-NORML.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Roots Monday, featuring the blues, country, folk, and jazz music that birthed the modern sounds we enjoy today. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Roots Monday time, and that bacon on the screen means it's time for us to reach out to Bacon Dan, who's here in Portland, to bring us the latest tune. What's happening, Dan?
Oh, not too much, Ross. And let me just say thank you again for such an awesome Saturday. To the point my coworkers did not believe me about my stories until you guys showed up on Sunday with the limo.
Yeah, that was pretty nice, pulling up in the Magical Butter limo at the restaurant where you work, and unloading a whole bunch of us for a delicious meal. Everybody commented on how delicious everything was, so our compliments to your chef.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And it was just really cool to have you guys there. And I mean, the talk of the restaurant was, oh, my God, what's magical butter? What's magical butter? And I just got to sit back and go, well, let me tell you.
Far out. That's exactly what we're trying to cultivate here as far as our relationships with some of these businesses here in the cannabis community. Get people to talk about them. That's really great news. All right, so let's get to our Bacon Dan Roots Monday tune for the day. And I love this next artist you're going to play for us.
Yes, this is Cooper from Cooper and the Jam. I actually personally know her through the Ed Foreman show. She is the hottest redhead soul singer to hit the scene. Well, I mean, just soul singer in general. You would never expect the sound that comes out of her. She's all of maybe 5'3", a firecracker of red hair. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's ripping up the scene right now in Nashville. She is from Oregon originally. She does make her way back here every now and then. She is definitely a friend of the marijuana community by tenfold. And this song is just, if there's ever been a better example of the range of her voice and just the amount of soul she sings with, I haven't seen it. I just absolutely love the hell out of this song, and got to get a happy birthday from her as she performed on my birthday here in Portland at the Doug Fir Lounge.
All right, then let's get right to it. What's the name of this tune, and do you have any album or contact info for us?
you can go on to CooperandTheJam.com or search them on Facebook. The song is, oh my gosh, the name of it, I'm like so excited about it. I'm losing the name of this song.
It's Tell Me to Stay by Cooper and the Jam.
There we go.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
I ain't walking out, I'm just putting on my shoes. If you tell me to stay, I'll put them away. You know I'll come crawling to you. I ain't packing up, I'm just folding up my clothes. If you say that I'm yours, they'll go back in that drawer. Don't make it so easy to go. I've been holding on for just a little too long. I've been waiting and begging and pleading and needing you to tell me that I'm not alone. So hold me like you used to, and make me believe I'll never leave. Baby, it's all up to you. Just say it. Just say it. Mean it when you say it. Tell me to stay. I ain't giving in, I'm just throwing up my hands. But make no mistake, I'm ready to break. And baby, I've done all I can. I ain't crying, no, I'm just mopping up this floor. There'll be no trace of me when I turn to leave. And I'm 3 words away from that door. I've been holding on for just a little too long. I've been waiting, begging and pleading and needing you to tell me that I'm not alone. So hold me like you used to, and make me believe I'll never leave. Baby, it's all up to you. Just say it. Just say it. Mean it when you say it. Tell me to
Support the Russ Belville Show. Text the word Russ to 420-420 and connect with the National Cannabis Coalition. You can also send $10 to the Russ Belville Show right from your smartphone. That's Russ to 420-420. You're listening to Radical Russ on the Russ Belville Show.
Thrasher Flower Hour with Herb Thrasher and Radical Russ from Portland, Oregon. Live every Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. GMT, right here on 420radio.org.
It's time for the Russ Belville Show's Cannabis Q&A with Dr. Mitch Earlywine. Dr. Earlywine is a professor of psychology at the State University of New York at Albany and a leading author and researcher on cannabinoids and health, who pins the Ask Dr. Mitch column for High Times magazine. Get your questions ready in our live chat or call in to 971-533-7111 now.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's 30 after the hour, and that means it's time for our regular visit with Dr. Mitch Earlywine. How you doing, Dr. Mitch?
Having a great day.
Oh, I'm having a great day, too. So glad to have you on the line because, you know, there's a story. It's making its way all around the internet, and by God, these German researchers, they've discovered two people who have died from cannabis. And we always give Dr. Mitch the first word, and I know he's raring at the bit to get at this one. So, Dr. Mitch, what can you tell us?
I did a blog on the NORML webpage about this. I mean, when you think about how common heart attack is and how common daily use of cannabis is, we would expect by chance to have about 19,000 deaths where somebody had a heart attack and had used cannabis that day only by chance. So I ended by saying it's not that we found these two, it's that where are the other thousands that we should have found by now?
Really?
And, I mean, people jump up and down and say, but it increases heart rate, and if you've already got a pre-existing condition, then blah, blah, blah. I mean, a double espresso increases heart rate a lot more than cannabis does. And if we want to make that illegal, I think we're going to be in a world of trouble.
You know, and as I read this, you know, the researchers were trying to discount any other confounders that they might have caused this these cannabis related deaths, these so-called related deaths. And they noted that the 23-year-old had an undiagnosed heart condition, and the 28-year-old had a history of alcohol, amphetamine, and cocaine abuse. I mean, how much did that play into these deaths?
Well, and the funny thing is that they could actually say that and write that with a straight face and get that paper published. Tells you how we're really at the sort of last stages of reefer madness now, and they're jumping up and down on stuff like this. I got to interpret that as we're starting to win here.
Yeah, we are starting to win this battle, and their reefer madness is just becoming more and more untenable. Even, you know, folks that don't know anything about marijuana are starting to call doubt on these claims. And this is our Cannabis Q&A segment. I want to remind everyone, if you've got questions for Dr. Mitch, please get them into our chat room. You can enter our chat room through Ustream on our 420 radio page, or if you'd like to call in live, the number is right there on the screen, 971-533-7111. Now, there's another study that came out today, and this one I was very happy to see, because one of the talking points we get from drug warriors is, my God, if we legalize marijuana, all the workers will get stoned and we'll end up losing workplace productivity. Can you tell us a little bit about this new study that came out about workplace productivity and cannabis use?
This is a brilliant study that appeared in the Journal of Addictive Disease, basically looking at urine drug tests for folks who had some kind of basically problem at work, some kind of accident or something like that, and a control group, and found, in fact, a whole bunch of people who had used some other drug other than cannabis who had to be tossed out, but literally hundreds of folks in the sample who tested positive for cannabis, and the rate among normal people who haven't had any problems at work is exactly the same as the rate for folks who basically do happen to have accidents on the job. And so I feel like that whole issue about, cannabis is going to turn anybody into this incompetent employee is certainly undermined from data like this. And I want to emphasize that, in truth, depending on your job, going a job high is usually a buzzkill. So I don't think that this is anywhere near the concern that a lot of folks have been claiming.
And you know, another thing about this that always, and we get the same sort of pushback on the whole driving issue too, that, you know, we legalize marijuana, there'll be stoned drivers. We'll legalize marijuana, there'll be stoned people at work. And I can't understand how, as marijuana's been illegal, there's this cohort of people who have steadfastly followed the law, and then suddenly when it's legal, they're going to break driving laws and come to work high? That doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
Well, and this tacit assumption that, Benadryl and Vicodin and all these other things aren't out there impairing folks is certainly intriguing, and that there's absolutely no appreciation for medical users who develop tolerance to subjective effects but still benefit medicinally and can drive just as fine or better than a lot of folks on, antihistamines.
Yeah, and this is a great study also that comes on the heels of Governor Jerry Brown of California was recently on Meet the Press. He's seeking his 4th term as California governor. And when David Gregory asked him about the possibility of marijuana legalization in California, he replied with some talk about being competitive, and the world's a competitive place, and we might lose our edge. And I have yet to see California lose its edge over the past, 16, 17 years, 15 years of medical marijuana. I don't see how legalization is going to cause anyone to lose their edge.
Well, and the idea that it's this outrageously competitive thing and that we're already these just ultimately superbly, stellarly efficient workers. I mean, if we're really concerned about the edge, why not build the infrastructure in California and don't worry about medical cannabis,
Yeah, and another story that's getting some repeat as well, and I'm not, as upset about this one, but maybe we could talk about it a little bit, is the continuing emphasis on, or the continuing reporting of pets coming into veterinary emergency rooms having eaten, a tray of pot brownies or something like that. What do we know about the toxicity of cannabis with respect to our dogs, especially if they eat a whole lot of it?
I mean, what's funny about this is it goes all the way back to William O'Shaughnessy in the 1800s, where he, was gathering data on whether vegetarian animals got higher than meat eaters and things like that. And in truth, it's much like it is for humans in the sense that you need a certain amount per kilogram in order to reach an intoxicating dose. The lethal dose is incredibly hard to reach. That said, I of course am sensitive to the needs of these innocent animals who I have a hard time resisting a whole tray of brownies myself, and I think people should be super careful on this. But the notion that this is suddenly going to turn into cat and dog aside, if you will, is just overblown. And in truth, again, when you think about how often do cats and dogs sort of have medical conditions that need that kind of work, some of these could have even happened by chance.
Yeah, and how much of this, too, could be a bit of reporting bias in that when pot's illegal and your dog's freaking out, maybe you're not as likely to want to take them to a veterinarian as when it's legal.
Well, and in fact, when you look at the locales for where these are showing up, of course you're seeing, it's all in the states where medical cannabis is legal or we have tax and regulate. And so, that bias, as you're pointing out, is certainly contributing.
All right. We have a question from our chat room. Canna Justice would like to know if you could explain what anandamide is.
Well, so if you think about what is it that the cannabis plant acts on in your body, that's CB1 and CB2 receptor. Anandamide is an endogenous cannabinoid. It's something in your body that's going to stimulate that CB1 receptor that your body makes on its own. It's not coming in from a plant or another foreign source. It tends to only last a really short duration compared to THC, and it tends to do it a whole lot more dramatically, if you will. THC is what we call a partial agonist for the CB1 receptor, whereas anandamide is a full-blown firing of that receptor.
Okay. We have a question from John Thomas who'd like to know if there are any studies on the horizon on the effects of marijuana consumption on longevity.
What's intriguing is Gary Wenk, W-E-N-K, the guy who had some of those data on Alzheimer's, has been trying to propose this for years and years, and what a surprise. He just can't seem to get the funding from NIH about this. But at least his data with rats suggests that age-related sort of dementia symptoms in rats, some of the memory deficits that you would normally see, seems to be protected by THC and at least THC and potentially some other cannabinoids. And it's crying out for this to happen, but we just don't have the funding to make these studies appear.
All right. We have time for one more question here coming from Medigro, Vermont, who says, I'm finding great relief from my medibles, especially my coconut oil-based butter. Have you any news about these medibles? And I'll add to it a little bit if you could tell us how eating cannabis products processes differently in our body than inhaling them.
The clincher here is that by eating it, we're giving the liver a chance to break it down, and that creates this substance called 11-hydroxy-THC, which crosses the blood-brain barrier much more rapidly. And because of oral administration just requiring digestion, you get a much slower, more gradual, but longer-lasting impact. Obviously, none of the cannabis has lost a side stream smoke or anything like that, so this can be an incredibly efficient way to make use of a measured dose. The drawback is, of course, people who haven't used their dosage or calculated it correctly can end up with a long, more disappointing experience when, in fact, what they really need is just a short, brief one, and that's why I always like to encourage folks to have their vaporizers as well.
Absolutely. Get on the vaporization, folks, if you haven't tried it yet. Dr. Mitch Earlywine is our guest here on our Cannabis Q&A segment every Monday here on 420radio.org. We really appreciate you in that capacity. And now you've got the new hat you have to wear as the executive chair of the NORML Board of Directors. Can you give us any look forward onto what's coming from NORML event-wise or strategy-wise in the next few months?
We're definitely going to have some strong appearances at all the upcoming Cannabis Cups, of course, and we're looking forward to giving as much support as we can to all the new medical and legalization initiatives that are coming up ahead. We're debating about the need for a national meeting and have actually had such good luck with some of the more localized ones that we may turn towards those, and I should have some news on that relatively soon.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from that. And anybody, if you want to get involved with the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, it's NORML.org, NORML.org. I just returned from Minnesota, where Minnesota NORML is kicking it, and there's so many great chapters around the country. Check and see if you've got a local chapter. If you don't, get a hold of NORML, and they'll help you form one of your very own, and you can make a difference here in ending adult marijuana prohibition. Dr. Mitch, thanks again for joining us here on Cannabis Science, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Looking forward to next week.
All right. Thanks so much. And folks, when we come back, we would normally have a radical rant, but you get 2 interviews today for the price of 1. We're going to do an activist agenda segment with Jeremy Cooper, the West Coast Operations Manager and Executive Chef for MagicalButter.com.
You smoke trees till you get what you need now. Designer drugs and minted smokes to get through the day. You always get them so high.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisements because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
You can get 420 Radio on the go with the Ustream video app for Android and iPhone. Go to rad-r.us/420Ustream or just click the Ustream app icon for Android or iPhone below the live radio feed at 420.
Well, how do you? My name is Bob Ware, and I play with the Grateful Dead. And I just like to say that I've seen too many people just absolutely wasted by heroin. So if you're thinking about ever doing that, I'd have to caution you not to. I've seen too many people, like up-and-coming young musicians, that get into heroin and they don't up-and-come anymore.
Just keep chugging on.
Activism begins with ACT. The Russ Belville Show features the stories of hardworking grassroots activists working for an end to prohibition in today's activist agenda.
You take a seed, it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth.
Hey, good evening, Tokers and Tokettes. Radical Russ here, coming to you live and direct from Rolla J Studios on a Saturday night. No, you're not hallucinating. Normally we'd have the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour replaying right now. In fact, Herb is standing right over there. But we are partying on this Saturday night for a very special occasion. We wanted to make sure we got this recorded because we are sitting in with Jeremy Cooper. He's with Magical Butter. And Jeremy, how you doing, man?
Hello, man. Russ, I got to tell you, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here in Portland, and I'm really excited.
We're excited, too, because I just got back from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we had the Minnesota NORML event. It was a lot of fun, but to get out of the airport and then have the Magical Butter limo sitting there ready to go, people are looking like, what in the hell is that?
Oh, it's an honor picking you up.
Well, tell us why you're here in Portland.
Well, you know, we're on a PR tour. We're just trying to get out, get to know people, and just experience Portland for what it is and this beautiful city. And we're neighbors. And I just wanted to reach out and say hi.
And you're based up in Seattle now, right?
I am.
Far out. What's happening up there?
Well, we've just opened the first cannabis community center in the nation.
Cool.
And we're actually doing an open source educational program as well with some of the local leaders. I got to tell you, it's been amazing.
Well, I think it's been amazing as well because, by the way, Jeremy here, you're the executive chef and the West Coast
Director of Operations.
That's amazing, man. And the West Coast, that's where it's happening.
It is. And, you know, Garen Angel, our owner, gave me the honor and gave me the wings to come out here and fly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been flying high ever since.
You can't help it when you're out here on the West Coast. And, you know, we've been promoting Magical Butter for a long time. Ever since we met Garen, I think at Seattle Hemp Fest, maybe it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, this device is amazing, folks, because it's like, it's all self-contained, and you put in your herb, you put in your oil or butter, you push a button, there's no smell, you come back, you got butter or oil.
That's right.
That's as easy as it is. And like when I first heard this, I'm like, yeah, right. Because I've seen some products, right? I've seen some people try to make some stuff and it just never turns out right. But this thing, I mean, it's clean, it's, you know, smell proof. Tell them more about it.
Well, look at this.
It's one of the early ones.
There's a magical butter machine actually right here in front of me, which I'm very happy to see it. Right, I walked in and it was right here. In the studio.
I told you to promote it.
So yeah, the magical butter machine. So yeah. Regular oil, 1 hour. You've got 2 hours for butter, and you've got your 4-hour tincture button. And I've recently opened up and put out some videos online that you can actually make MBO, which is magical butter oil, which is our cannabis oil.
Wow.
And we've got some new innovations coming out for it. We're really excited for it.
Cool.
The glove is coming out.
The glove? What is the glove?
The glove.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Hey, I don't promote the love glove. Actually, short and sweet, Miss Amanda does.
There she is.
She's actually sitting over here in the studio with us. Yeah, she's actually the one putting that out. And then we have new micron filters and new packaging. And I got to tell you, it looks beautiful, and it's going to be easier and easier to use.
Yeah, tilt that down a bit there.
Definitely. It's awesome.
Oh,
there she is.
Say hi, Amanda.
There.
There's a microphone for you.
Hello.
So what do you do with Magical Butter?
I am the short and sweet segment. I make little sweet.
So like for like videos though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're telling
1 to 2 minute segments.
Right, teaching people how to use this, what they can make with it, and so forth.
Yeah, little short stuff like whipped cream.
Right on. If people want to see these videos, where do they go?
YouTube right now.
Just YouTube so far?
We have actually built an actual studio in
I'm
downtown
jealous.
Seattle. Parkan lights, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, I'm
we're
jealous.
decking it all out, and we're getting ready to put out our own webcast program of our shows, and we're going to be broadcasting weekly.
That's awesome. You know, and the more shows and the more access there is out there, the better. I think there's plenty of audience for everyone, and there's plenty of niches for everyone to fill. And of course, with your knowledge of you know, cooking, culinary arts, you were saying something about organic chemistry or something like that. What was it?
Gastroscience.
That was it.
Gastroscience. I've got a passion for gastroscience, manipulating everything from the butters to the oils to making it into sugar. That's kind of been my new thing lately, is turning cannabis into sugar and being able to cook with it in different ways, masking the flavors, making them more potent. I mean, and this is an open, free range of an opportunity of a lifetime to be in the cannabis industry, and I hope more people come and embrace it.
Yeah, no doubt. And especially, you know, one of the things I like about magical butter and being able to make these edibles is because it gets us away from the fear people have of pot smoking. And it provides that instant answer of, well, you don't have to smoke it. You can use edibles, you can use cookies, you can use tinctures, and hey, look at this. It makes them all.
It does. It makes it all one thing. And the nice thing is, it's great for the patients.
Yeah.
And that is such an important thing to me, being able to tell them this is the exact dosage of what you need. I mean, how many times have we gone out and bought a cookie and popped a cookie in our mouth, and next thing you know, it's 4 doses.
Uh-huh.
And this gives you the opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah, I always have this rule with edibles. I have to be near something soft and horizontal. Because usually, you know, the days of not knowing what you're getting are in the past. I think now with the laws that are coming out in these dispensaries and in the legal states as well, mandating labeling, mandating, you know, dosages on these edibles. And magical butter can help you with that if I'm not mistaken.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, there's such a plethora of things you can do with it as well. We had a lady named Jenna, works at a dispensary in Seattle, come to us, and she goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm making a new product in this." She calls it Cannabis. It's a dosage system. It's a tincture that you can make in this with a little bit of
like a Banaka Blast.
Yeah, like a Banaka Blast. And the best thing is, it's got peppermint oil and everything in it, and you're just bam, bam, bam. Next thing you know, the headache's gone, the muscle aches are gone, or you know, it helps. And she says she actually started using it as a weight loss thing, and it's been hugely popular. And she's reaching out to patients, giving away dozens and dozens of bottles of that as well. So.
That's fantastic. We're speaking with Jeremy Cooper here. He's the executive chef and West Coast director of operations for Magical Butter. Check them out at magicalbutter.com. These machines are well worth it, especially, you know, a lot of people aren't in medical states, aren't in legal states, and they need stealth. And you can't really cook up a batch of butter or oil without stinking up your house. I know people that have tried, but this thing here, this is stealth.
You know, it's great because it's 2 hours. You know, you do have a little bit of smell, but if you're smart about it, just burn a candle. I mean, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
So it's easy and it's convenient. It puts the power back into the people's hands. You don't have to be slave to the old-fashioned crock pot for 23 hours.
And you know, another thing I like about this, we're going to talk a little bit about your boss, Garen Angel. I met him at the Seattle Hemp Fest, and in this green rush, you know, there's a lot of money to be made, and there's some people that are coming into the business with dollar signs in their eyes, and they really don't know the community, and they don't know the culture, and in a sense, sometimes they're taking advantage of our people and just trying to make money, trying to make a buck. I'm telling you, Garen Angel and these people at Magical Butter have given so much back to the community. I know you've done like benefits and giveaways for, like, you know, Brave Michaela and some of these children that are having difficulties. Can you give us some idea of the philanthropic work that Magical Butter's part of?
Well, first and foremost, the community center. Of course, I'm close to that, and Garen's on the other side of the coast, and Garen gave me the opportunity to that. And one of the things that we talked about initially was how are we going to do that? How are we going to give back to the community? What are we going to do? One of the things we just announced the other day at a marijuana business meeting had at our facility was we're donating 25% of the money generated from Magical Butter Studios back to our community.
Oh my goodness!
And we're so excited about that.
Fantastic!
That's a big deal.
The studio audience loves you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what a great company that says, you know what, hey Jeremy, if they can't afford it, you know, give it to them. If they're a patient, give it to them. Do what we need to do that. And I mean, when you get to do the right thing in a company, it's so rare. When you get to do the right thing in a company this big and reach around the world as well, not just here locally, and be able to help children. I mean, to be able to help children in that,
we've had Brave Michaela in our studio, and we've helped her out and been a part of her gig before, and she's adorable. And just knowing that she's getting oils and cookies and stuff that you guys helped to bring to her, and she's just one of so many.
Yeah, we have reached out, and I mean, Garen has just changed people's lives, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, he's even changed my life, and being able to empower me to go out and do what's right, and really just, I mean, we've given away hundreds and hundreds of the machines, as well as unnameable other things, and as well our financial support for the people who truly do need it as well.
Awesome. And you know, there's a lot of people now that we have this legitimacy to medical marijuana, to legalized marijuana, people getting into the culture who have quite different backgrounds. What's your background before you got into this whole world?
Well, I've been a corporate event planner for a number of years. I've worked in law enforcement and geriatric medicine as well.
Really?
So I have.
Do you think about like how much those folks, geriatric patients, could benefit, you know, in their states if they could legalize? I mean, Florida's about to go medical.
Right.
That's just gonna. I think that's the tipping point, because once all those seniors find out how good cannabis can be for them.
I don't think there's going to be anybody over 25 unless they're working. You know, it's the retirement destination, the true green zone of the world. We're going to change the orange for a pot leaf, and that'll be it. I think that between Alzheimer's research, between the aspects of the analgesic properties of CBDs, and all of the benefits that can come through cannabis and cannabis medicine, I think it reaches across the board. I don't think it's just seniors. I think it's everyone.
Yeah, and across all age demographics and across all political spectrums as well. Illness doesn't discriminate by Republican or Democrat, right?
I agree.
And we find in a lot of these states where like a Georgia, for example, the reason Georgia is moving forward with a CBD bill, I mean, it's really limited, it's just CBD. The reason they're moving forward with it, though, some cop's daughter has spastic disorder that would be treated by it. It's amazing how people's minds flip when it's in their family.
And I think you're the financial aspect as well. I mean, it's a medicine that people can afford.
There you go.
You know, we're in a state of healthcare that is almost crumbling amongst us, and it's so expensive. We're returning the power to the people to heal once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm telling you, thank you so much for picking me up from the airport. We're about to head out on the town. We're going to give them a show here in Portland, Oregon. We're going to visit Madeline out at the Cannabis Cafe. We'll have some video of that, video from the limo to bring to you, all sorts of great stuff. And Jeremy, thank you so much for being here. Before we let you go, anything, last words for the audience? What do you want to leave them with?
Eat a treat, and hey guys, cheers to goodness. Continue the good fight wherever you are.
All right, magicalbutter.com. Check them out. We are going to call it a night. I'll get the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour on next. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers. Of course, that's our Saturday night recording with Jeremy Cooper and Amanda and the rest of the crew from magicalbutter.com. They were really, really kind to us, taking us out in the Magical Butter limo for a night on the town. We went to the Cannabis Cafe. We went to Henry's Bar. We went to the Lucky 13, I think it's called. Lucky Devil, Lucky 13, something like that. And we will bring you that video, the highlights from it, coming up next in Hour 2 Toker Talk Radio. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be enjoyable. We've also got my tour of the American Spirits, the Rise and Fall of Prohibition, the exhibit that was in Minnesota. I've got a full presentation of that, a tour beginning in the 1840s temperance movement, running all the way through the era of Prohibition from 1920 to 1933. You'll learn how it came to be, what role women played in enacting Prohibition and repealing Prohibition. Plus, I'll look at a lot of the exhibits they had there. Some of these things, just some of the amazing propaganda, anti-drinking propaganda posters are quite interesting to look at too. So check that out coming up next in Hour 2, Toker Talk Radio. Also, want to remind you that all the rest of the week we'll be here with 420 Radio and the Russ Belville Show. We got a great lineup of guests coming this week, including tomorrow, John Walker from Firedog Lake's Just Say Now blog will be joining us, and he has got a new book out we're going to be talking about in our Reformers Reader. It's entitled After Legalization, Understanding the Future of Marijuana Policy. So we'll talk about this tomorrow. On Wednesday, we'll have another great guest on the show. We're hoping to have Sharon Ravert from the Peachtree NORML organization in Georgia. She's going to talk a little bit about the just passed today medical marijuana bill in the House of the Georgia legislature. So that's some good news coming out of Georgia. On Thursday, we've got our Cops Say Legalized Drugs segment. We've got James Kenny joining us from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And we hope on Friday to get Danny Danko or Mike G on the line from High Times Magazine. Give us a look at the latest issue of High Times. Also coming up in the next hour, our Fan Friday Trivia Contest, which we didn't get to last Friday, so stay tuned.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
But
That's all the time I got here for Hour 1. Thanks for joining us. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.